Hello, we're reaching you live from iBrand Newsroom here in Lagos. Coming up, 7 Boko Haram insurgents were killed on Tuesday as the Nigerian military successfully repelled an attack on Maiduguri metropolis. 2 men were killed on Tuesday after Sudanese security forces fired live rounds and tear gas at demonstrators. Iran's hardline former President Mahmoud Ahma-dinejad on Wednesday registered to run again in an election in June. Nigeria production of crude oil has remained consistent despite the advent of COVID-19. Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us on News Now. And here are stories making headlines this hour. I'm Michael Nath. The COVID-19 strain, which is currently ravaging India, has been found in Nigeria. The strain was detected by the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases in the Redeemers University at Osun State nearly 3 weeks ago, and has been communicated to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. The federal government on Monday restricted gatherings at worship centers and banned nightclubs following reports that the devastating COVID-19 strain in South Africa has spread to 23 other countries. The detection of the Indian strain in Nigeria contributed to the fresh regulations issued by the federal government. Senators from southern Nigeria have expressed their support for governors from their various geopolitical zones who are demanding the restructuring of the country and the immediate ban on open grazing in their respective states. The Forum of Southern Governors had on Tuesday announced a ban on open grazing in all the 17 southern states and called on the President Muhammadu Buhari to, as a matter of urgency, address Nigerians on the frightening state of insecurity across the nation. The Southern Senators Forum on Wednesday, in a statement titled Insecurity, Southern Senators commend and endorse the resolutions of the Southern Governors, urging them to work with the National Assembly for optimal results, hailed the decision and resolutions of the governors and pledged to work with them for their actualization. The statement was jointly signed by the SSF Chairman Opeyemi Bamidele Ekiti, Secretary General Matthew Orohiwe Edo, and Publicity Secretary Chukwuka Utazi Enugu. Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, said Tuesday after a meeting between the Presidential Committee on Salaries, relevant stakeholders, health sector professional associations, and trade unions on the issue of hazard allowance and retirement age for health sector workers in government health establishments. Now, briefing journalists on the outcome of the meeting held at the Presidential Villa Banquet Hall in Abuja, Ngige said they made progress and ironed out issues on the permanent hazard allowance and retirement age for doctors and other health workers. He explained that the health professionals could be retained for a longer time by increasing their retirement age to 65 for regular health workers and doctors and 70 years for consultants. The minister said in principle, the government agreed to the proposal of the health workers and to put up the necessary machinery in motion for its actualization. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Arembeshola, has charged the Controller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa, to ensure that the rights and dignity of inmates are respected and protected. He made this statement in Abuja while decorating the newly appointed Controller General, and he asked that inmates should be respected and treated as human beings and as well be equipped with relevant skills and education that make them relevant at the end of their jail terms. He also asked the Controller General to synergize with other security agencies to ensure that correctional facilities across the country are better protected.
May not be necessarily a 5-star hotel accommodation. Inmates must be reasonably fed and their health well taken care of. Their dignity should be well respected and they should be protected from abuse of any form, be it physical, sexual, verbal, and psychological. Please protect them from abuses. They should leave the facility on completion of their term feeling well treated and their dignity as boss relation restored. They should feel grateful for being handled by firm but kind and compassionate officers, even those who are to die.
As you are all aware, our dear country is presently plagued with a lot of challenges, bordering on security, hence the need for us security agencies to be at the optimum so as to stem the tide. Consequently, I intend to deploy my over 30 years experience in managing offenders to sustain the legacies of my predecessors and take the service to a higher pedestal.
The Commissioner of Police at the Adamawa State Command, Aliyu Adamu, has ordered frequent surveillance on visibility policing across the state to forestall any security breach during the Salah celebration. The CP enjoined citizens to go about these celebrations without fear. He also directed the divisional police officers, operational commanders, and their supervisory area to ensure the security of the public. He assured that the strategic officers patrol around residential areas, major highways, and government-private infrastructure to prevent and arrest any ugly situation. The command also enjoined members of the public to report any suspicious movement around their neighborhood to the nearest police station. Men of the Benue State Police Command outfits Operation Zenda, headed by their commander CSP Justin Berindie, led his team to Tavachan town in Katsina Ala to uncover another mass grave of victims. The two suspects, Dosia Tessia alias Bob Sese, 23 years, and Okashima David alias Cash Money, 22 years, were arrested in Osun State after both fled following the killings, kidnapping, and armed robbery activities carried out in Mbamang, Tavachan, Michiche, Council Ward of Katsina Ala, local government area of Benue State. Both suspects confessed to having killed their wives. One of them, alias Bob Tese, said his wife died following misunderstanding between them after a wood he threw at her pierced her neck mistakenly. The other suspect, alias Cash Money, revealed his wife's death was instigated by his father after he alleged that his wife was trying to burn his house by calling security agents.
For here, 3, 1 day down.
That's how many?
That is 4.
So, of all the people I don't kill so far, how many so far?
3 more. All the people who don't kill, the people who don't kill, where my hand they on top. Me na 4, my hand they on top, sir.
Your friend, Cash Money?
My friend, 5.
Now, who be your leader?
For here.
For this killing one you do so?
This guy, sir.
Now, this one be the leader. How old are you?
Me, 23.
How old are you now?
22.
22. Are you married?
Yes, sir.
How many children?
1.
Where's your wife now?
You don't kill her.
Just this the other place they just bury a young lady there. So it's unfortunate. So simply the challenge is securing intelligence gathering. You have a lot of hiccups generally. It's still ongoing, so I wouldn't say. Investigation is still ongoing.
Okay.
And we hope many of them will be apprehended to face the wrath of the law. He mentioned that there are about 10 in this horrendous act. So we are going to make sure we track them down.
7 Boko Haram insurgents were killed on Tuesday as the Nigerian military successfully repelled an attack on Maiduguri metropolis while Muslim faithful broke their Ramadan fast. 3 soldiers paid the supreme price as the insurgents set ablaze houses in Jidari Polo area within Maiduguri. Abdul Razak Abdullahi, a resident of Jidari Polo, disclosed to newsmen that insurgents got to the town on motorcycles and gun trucks, which aimed at army base located in the area, resulting in the casualty. The attack by the insurgents on the town lasted for about an hour, even as children and women were still believed to be missing. Now, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdul Rashid Bawa, has disclosed that the commission has recovered $153 million from former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke, who has been living in Britain since leaving office. He also said the anti-graft agency recovered no fewer than 80 choice property valued at $80 million. This was contained in the April edition of the EFCC magazine, EFCC Alert. But the EFCC chief was quick to add that bringing the former minister to justice was still far from reality, given the fact that she was out of Nigeria's jurisdiction, acknowledging the challenges associated with bringing her home to face justice. The chairman said there are several cases surrounding Diezani's case. I was part of that investigation, and we have done quite a lot. In one of the cases, we recovered $153 million, and we have secured the final forfeiture of over 80 properties in Nigeria, valued at about $80 million. We have done quite a bit on that. Now, experts in the education sector have called for more attention to be devoted to the teaching and learning of mathematics as a way of improving students' academic achievement in Nigeria. To this end, the Federal Ministry of Education, through the academic Pathfinders Solutions, organized a seminar for teachers across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to discuss ways to overcome phobia for mathematics and teaching techniques in schools at all levels. Speaking with newsmen at the South-South and Southeast Center of the program, academic officer of ACAPAT, Blessing Idodo, said the essence is to build professionals in all schools to become economic models that will deliver sound education for public good.
For the last 10 years, we've been having mass failures, and that's amidst the examination malpractice that we have. So if we still have the kind of malpractice that we have, and we still see that kind of mass failure in certificate examination, it means that there's a phobia. This is what prompted us to actually do a training for Unity School teachers. It's not just about Unity School teachers, it's a campaign for all schools, but we are starting with Unity schools. But we started from Southwest to North Central. We did Northeast, Northwest together, and the grand finale here, which is South, and Southeast. So with that, we believe that with the new zeal, fresh fire, the momentum will increase. But we also believe that training like this should not just be once and off thing. And as soon as it gets routine training like that, the effect of mass failure will be broken completely.
I've been one of the happiest person in this workshop. The reason is this: it's a reminder. If there is no reminder, there will be no pursuit. There will be no zeal to pursue it. Now the zeal has been reawakening. They have loaded me with this new trend, global development, global change. So now that I have been loaded from this workshop, I am back. I will be back to my students and release it to them, where I know for sure that there will be drastic change.
It's no doubt we are going to make a positive change, improve on what we have been doing before.
This is News Now on iBrandTV. African News Now. 2 men were killed on Tuesday after Sudanese security forces fired live rounds and tear gas at demonstrators marking the anniversary of a deadly raid on a protest site during the country's 2019 uprising. In a statement early Wednesday morning, Sudan's military said 2 people died in what called unfortunate events as protesters were leaving a protest site. It said it would investigate and cooperate fully with judicial authorities, including handing over anyone shown to be involved. In a separate statement, Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok described the use of gunfire against peaceful protesters as a crime, demanding immediate justice. Crowds had gathered in central Khartoum to commemorate the 2nd anniversary, according to the Islamic calendar, of the raid on a sit-in protest in 2019. Foreign news now. Technical problems derailed Japan's coronavirus vaccination booking system on Wednesday, compounding frustration over the government's handling of new outbreaks of infections and an inoculations drive that critics say has been woefully slow. The only system to book a vaccine crashed in many places, including parts of Tokyo and the western city of Maiduguri, because of a global problem with U.S. cloud computing. Our Salesforce Chief Technology Officer Parker Harris said on Twitter that the company was experiencing a major disruption, later updating to say services had been mostly restored. The ministry has faced numerous technical problems throughout the pandemic, from a contact tracing application that failed to pass on vital information to a cumbersome database that health workers were reluctant to use. Japan has only inoculated 2.8% of its population, the lowest rate among wealthy countries, despite an ambitious government target of giving shots to its 36 million elderly people by July. Iran's hardline former President Mahmoud Ahma-dinejad on Wednesday registered to run again in an election in June, which is being seen as a test of the legitimacy of the country's clerical rulers. Vilified in the West for his questioning of the Holocaust, Ahmadinejad had to step down in 2013 because of term limit rules when incumbent President Hassan Rouhani, who negotiated Iran's 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, won in a landslide. Candidates began signing up for the polls on Tuesday, with the clerical rulers hoping for a high turnout, which may be hit by rising discontent over an economy crippled by U.S. sanctions reimposed after Washington exited the nuclear deal 3 years ago. Registration will end on Saturday, after which entrants will be screened for their political Islamic qualifications by 12-member vetting body. Up next is sports news with Jidechi.
Welcome to the sports update. I am Jidechi Chidi. Japanese world number 2 Naomi Osaka suffered her second straight defeat on clay by losing to Jessica Pegula in the Italian Open second round. Osaka, who received the first round bye, lost 7-6, 7-2, 6-2 to the American world number 31 in Rome. For Osaka, this defeat followed a second round loss at the Madrid Open earlier this month and comes 2.5 weeks before the start of the French Open. Meanwhile, Australian world number 1 Ashley Barty reached the third round by beating Kazakhstan's Yaroslava Shevdova 6-4, 6-1, while American Serena Williams will be playing her 1,000th match of her career on Wednesday when she faces Argentina's Nadia Podoroska, a surprise French Open semi-finalist last year. And in football, Liverpool centre-back Virgil van Dijk has ruled himself out of playing for Netherlands at this summer's European Championship. The 29-year-old is recovering from surgery after suffering a knee ligament damage in October. Van Dijk revealed that he is taking such a decision because he feels it is the right decision. The Netherlands captain added that it's a tough decision, although he is at peace with it. The Euros are taking place between 11th of June and 11th of July, having been delayed by a year because of the coronavirus pandemic. And that's all for now on the sports updates. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Jidechi. Now, to business. Nigeria production of crude oil has remained consistent despite the advent of COVID-19 currently affecting the world. This was disclosed by the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simba Wobete, during a press briefing of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair 2021. The biennial event is championed by DMB. This will be the third edition of NoGov. Now, according to him, Nigeria current production rate, which is now at 1.4 million barrels per day is so because of the Organization of Oil Exporting Countries OPEC quota system. Despite the challenge of COVID-19, we have continued to enjoy adequate availability of petroleum products in the country.
We struggle with the challenges of COVID. We must also give hope to Nigerians that there are opportunities that they should look out for. Because if we all bury our head with regards to the challenges of COVID, we will find nothing that we can do again. So we must, as NCDMB, continue to give hope to Nigerians and continue to show them that even when you have a pandemic like this, there is opportunity for people to look out for. I think there is a saying that behind every disaster, there is an opportunity. I think the common one is that behind every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. That is the common saying that we have. So we must continue to do this, and we must continue to show that things can be done. For instance, throughout this COVID period, like you know, we continuously produce oil. They have not said we are short in oil production. No, that has continued. The only reason why we are perhaps producing what we are producing today is because of the OPEC containment. If not, we have potential to go beyond that.
The Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, manager of Nigeria's Sovereign Wealth Fund, on Tuesday announced its audited results for 2020 financial year, reflecting a 343% growth in income to 160 billion naira. This was disclosed in its audited financial results for 2020 financial year released in Abuja. The growth was far higher than the 36.15 billion naira recorded in the preceding year. It stated that the excluding devaluation gain of 51 billion naira, it made in core income of 109 billion naira compared to 33.07 billion naira in 2019. And that's news now here on iBrandTV. Thanks very much for watching. I am Michael Nath.